First day of school is fast approaching. Some places it opens in early August, mid-August. For millions of parents, teachers, and students, that means each day brings increasing uncertainty and a lot of worry about what exactly will happen during the upcoming school year, especially during, of course, this growing pandemic. But this conversation is more than just about education. It's also about the economy. For so many parents, school provides the necessary childcare so they're able to go to work without in-class instruction. That could be no childcare, which could mean the inability to work. And for an economy that is clearly struggling right now to rebound, that could mean even greater financial disaster. Let's discuss what's going on with the former acting Secretary of Labor under President Obama, Seth Harris. Seth, thanks so much for joining us. How critical would it be to reopen the schools as far as the economy is concerned?
The schools are essential to the economy, Wolf. More than 33 million families have children under the age of 18. Overwhelming majority of them are school-age kids. So parents rely on the education system to give their kids a constructive, safe place to go and where the kids can be engaged and can advance and develop. But it's also important for us to remember that schools are workplaces as well. And so when we talk about opening schools, of course, it's critically important that they be safe for the students, but they also have to be safe for teachers, other education professionals, school bus drivers, the people who work in the lunchrooms, administrators, janitorial crews. All of those workers also need to be protected. And we know that adults are at risk of transmission of this disease and potentially from children. So I think we have to be very, very, very careful about a rush to reopen these public schools.
I think you're absolutely right. At least 26 states, as you know, Seth, they're pausing or rolling back their reopening plans right now as we see this crisis explode. Are we looking at round two right now of a jobs apocalypse with new rounds of cuts, major bankruptcies? Just last week alone, another million Americans for the first time filed for unemployment benefits. I think over the past 16 weeks or so, more than 50 or 60 million Americans have applied for unemployment benefits, according to the Department of Labor. Now, many of them have gone back to work, but how worried should we be about a further explosion of unemployment, assuming the schools can't reopen?
Well, I don't think it's the schools that are causing the unemployment problem right now. We are seeing a turn down in employment in the country with some of the latest figures out of the Census Bureau. And also from the unemployment claims numbers that you mentioned, Wolf, we've now had 6 consecutive weeks between 1 million and 2 million claims. That is an unprecedentedly high level of unemployment claims, meaning people being laid off and seeking money from the government. And it's not turning down in a significant way. In fact, I think there's reason for concern that we're going to begin to see it turn up again. So the employment situation is serious. It is going to get more serious. But again, it's not because of schools. It's because we have a wildfire epidemic in our society, and the chief fire marshal is doing absolutely nothing to try and stop it. President Trump has demonstrated the worst failure in leadership in American history. And so we have dangerous situations and fear spreading across the country rather than a serious plan for opening schools, opening workplaces, and keeping all of us safe.
Seth, do you see the economy right now bouncing back, or potentially, given what's going on with the coronavirus explosion we're seeing in so many parts of the country, the economy further deteriorating with a lot more unemployment?
Well, the dreams that we've heard come out of the White House about a V-shaped recovery and we're going to bounce back in the third quarter and the fourth quarter to get where we were in January and February, I think that was always a fantasy. What we're seeing is a protracted, long-term, very slow recovery that now appears to have stalled and maybe turning down. We can't solve the problems in the economy until we solve the problem with the pandemic. That is the barrier to our success. The underlying economy, at least as of February and March, was quite strong. But now what we're seeing is not merely people losing their jobs in the short term, but businesses closing down, increasing rates of bankruptcy, therefore a lot of workers losing their jobs permanently. That is going to make it extremely difficult for us to get back quickly, both the Congressional Budget Office and the Federal Reserve Bank say we are going to have painfully high levels of unemployment at the end of this year, and I think that's going to last into 2021.
Yeah, it's a serious, serious issue, and these are such important issues. Seth Harris, the former acting Secretary of Labor, appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Wolf.
Later this month, the NBA will resume league